Alright, so today we have the product rule of we're gonna factor some calculus problems. Product rule, calculus factoring. So before we start, right off the bat, this is gonna be something you'll see in calculus. I'm just gonna include it in my algebra playlist because I think this is good for algebra students to learn because it's just factoring, and if you can do basic factoring, then you can do this problem. It's actually quite simple-ish. So that's right, and it's going to prepare you for calculus if you're going to take calculus in the future. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm not going to go into the very nitty-gritty details because I'm going to assume you guys already know how to factor basic algebra factoring. So just apply those rules to this and you got it. All right, so the first example we have is 3 times x squared plus 2 to the 4th power times 4x, x squared minus 3 to the 4th power plus x squared plus 2 to the 5th power times 6 times x minus 3 to the 3rd power. Right, so we have it right there. So in order to start factoring this, we have to see that these two, 1 and 2, separated by the plus sign in the middle, are terms, right? So we need to find what these two terms basically have in common. What can we factor out of these two terms? So let's go ahead and draw our little brackets right here. The plus sign in the middle. You know, this might end up being a little too small, but we're gonna try and work with it, you know. So so yeah, what can we factor out of these two terms that they both have in common? And to me, it looks like they have a 3 in common, right? So let's factor out the 3. 3 times what is going to give us 3? 3 times 1 will give us 3, right? And yeah, 3 times 1 will give us 3. And here we are going to factor a 3 out of basically the 6, and that is going to give us 2. When we factor out the 3 out of the 6, right? Yeah, 3 out of the 6, that's going to give us a 2. So what else do we have in common? We see that we have the x squared plus 2 to the raised to the 4th power. We have an x squared plus 2 raised to the 5th power in common. So we can only factor out this one because we can't really factor out the big one, because we can't factor out the big one out of this one. You get what I mean? Let's see that in action. So we have x squared plus 2 to the 4th power. You can only factor that one out of that one. So again, x squared plus 2 to the 4th power times 1, another 1 right here, is going to give us that, right? And now here, since we factored out a 4 out of the x squared plus 2 to the 5th power, we're only left with 1 x squared plus 2, right? So we write that down here. X squared plus 2. Because x squared plus 2 times to the 4th power times x squared plus 2 is going to give us x squared plus 2 to the 5th power. Right? All right. So what else do we have? We have an x. We have the 4x, but we can't really factor that one out. So we're just going to go ahead and put that one here. 4x. So what else do we have? We have an x minus 3, right? We can factor out an x minus 3 because they both have x minus 3's in common. So we can only factor out the number 3 because, like I stated in the previous one, we can't factor out the 4 because we can't factor this one out of this one, right? So again, we have an x squared minus 3 in the first term. X squared minus 3 to the 4th power in the first term. So that's only going to leave us, when we take out an x squared minus 3 to the 3rd power, that's only going to leave us in the first term x minus 3 to the 1st power. Because x minus 3 to the 3rd times x minus 3 is going to give us x minus 3 to the 4th power. Like that. Now we want to factor out an x minus 3 from this side. 3, we factor out that one, we're only left with 1. Right? So I'm just going to go ahead and check my work right here. We got 2 1s, 4x, x minus 3 to the 1st power plus 2 times x squared plus 2 times 1. That's basically this factored out of this, because if we multiply all of this with this, we get that, right? 3 times 1 is 3, x squared plus 2 to the 4th. It times 1 is x squared plus 2 to the 4th. 4x we leave alone. X minus 3 to the 3rd times x minus 3 to the 3rd. X times x minus 3 is going to give us x minus 3 to the 4th plus 3 times 2 is 6. X squared plus 2 to the 4th power times x squared plus 2. X squared equals x squared plus 2 to the 5th power. And this times this is that. Cool? Let's move on. So now we have this. What can we do? We can basically combine like terms. Basically just multiply this and multiply that and add it together by combining like terms. So 1 times 1 is 1. 4x times x minus 3. That's going to give us 4x squared minus 12, right? 4x squared minus 12 plus 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 using the distributive property, we have a plus 2x squared plus 2 times, that's 2, that's 4. So check your work. 4x squared minus 12, minus 12x, sorry about that. 4x times minus 3, 12x minus 12x, yeah, plus 2x squared, right? 2x squared plus 4, right? All we're doing is just multiplying. Distributive property. Yeah, you get the idea. Just multiplying, all right? Cool. Multiply this, multiply that, you get that. Now we can combine like terms. So let's go ahead and combine like terms. We have a positive 4 here. Can we combine it with anything else? Doesn't look like it. So we have a positive 4. We have a 2x squared. We have a 4x squared. We can combine that to get 6x squared. And then we have a minus 12x in the middle. So that's how we do this one. That's how we combine like terms. But it looks like we can factor this one out even further if we want. And it looks like we can take out a 2 from it. So let's go ahead and factor out a number 2 out of this. So this is going to be, when we factor out a number 2, this is going to be 3x squared minus 6x, I believe, plus 2. Let's go ahead and check that real quick. 3x squared minus 6x plus 2. So, and what we do with this number 2 is just multiply it with this one, right? So 2 times 3, that's going to give us 6. And then just bring this down. Just this, you bring it down right here. 6 times x squared plus 2 to the 4th times x minus 3 to the what third, parentheses. And then just check your answer. 6, check if we have to factor stuff out, and it doesn't really look like it. 3x. So 6 times x squared plus 2 to the 4th power, x minus 3 to the 3rd power times 3x squared minus 6x plus 2. And that should be your answer for this example. You box this. Sorry, I can't really write that well. I'm in my car right now, but I thought I'd teach you some math for really quick. So that's how we do this one. Let's see if I have another example. And I do. This one, number 2, 6 times 2x plus 1 to the 4th power, x minus 4 to the 4th power plus 36, 2x plus 1 to the 5th power, x minus 4 to the 3rd power. Again, same rules apply. These two are terms separated by the plus sign in the middle. So we have to look again. Let's draw our brackets, because these are going to be the two terms that we're going to be factoring, right? With the plus sign in the middle, because that's separating these two terms. So we look at these two terms and what do they have in common? We see that they do have a 6 in common. We can factor out a 6 out of this example. So let's factor out a 6. And 6 times what is going to give us 6? 6 times 1 will give us 6. And 6 times what is going to give us 36? 6 times 6 will give us 36, right? 6 times 1, 6, 6 times 6, 36. Cool. And it looks like they have a 2x plus 1, and the 2x plus 1, an x minus 4 and an x minus 4. They have that in common, right? So let's go ahead and factor this one out first, a 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1, right? So 2x plus 1, we see that there's 4 to the 4th power here, and there's 2 to the 5th power here. So we can only factor this one out to the 4th power. And 2x plus 1 to the 4th power times what is going to give us 2x plus 1 to the 4th power? That is going to be another number 1. And 2x plus 1 to the 4th power times what is going to give us 2x plus 1 to the 5th power? That is going to be another 2x plus 1, right? 2x plus 1. Because, again, when you multiply exponents, you add them. There's an imaginary power number 1 here, right? So 4 plus 1 is 5. 2x plus 1 to the 4th power times 2x plus 1 to the 1st power equals 2x plus 1 to the 5th power. Good? All right, so what else can we factor out of this? Let's go ahead and factor out this one, because they both have that in common, right? X minus 4 to the 4th power and x minus 4 to the 3rd power. Again, we can only factor out this one because we can't really take this one out of this one, right? So, x minus 4 to the 3rd power. If you're lost at this point, that's totally fine. Just get more practice with factoring, because I'm making this video assuming you already know some basic factoring. Cool? Alright, so just a heads up, by the way. I forgot if I said that in the beginning or not, but so cool, we factored this one out. So when we factor x minus 4 to the 3rd power out of this term, the first term, we see that there's x minus 4 to the 4th power. When you factor this one out of this one, we're only gonna get an x minus 4, right? Because this times this is gonna give us that. Good? Now let's go ahead and try and factor this one out of this one, and we see that they basically just factor each other out. So it's just gonna be a 1, because this times 1 is x minus 4 to the 3rd power. And let's go ahead and check out our work before we move on. I'm trying to see if I made a mistake here, but so far everything looks good. So again, same rule applies. Multiply these together, multiply that together, add them together. That's basically it. So right here, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times x minus 4 is x minus 4 plus 6 times 2x is 12x, right? Plus 1, 6 times 1 is 6. And yeah, so we have x minus 4 plus 2x plus 6. Good? X minus 4, that's x minus 4, by the way. I don't know if you're able to tell, but that's x minus 4. Good. So again, combine like terms, we see that we have a positive 6 here, and we have a negative 4 here. And when we combine a positive 6 and the negative 4, we're going to get a positive 2. And then we have an x right here and the 12x right here. You combine those together, you're going to get 13x. 13x. Parentheses. And then just bring this down right here. So we have 6 2x plus 1 to the 4th power x times x minus 4 to the 3rd power, 6 2x plus 1 to the 4th power, x minus 4 to the 3rd power, 13x plus 2. Check your work, confirm everything is good. And that looks like it's good, so this is going to be our answer. So again, these are problems you will find in calculus. I'm just teaching you guys this right now because First of all, this is good for algebra students to learn because it's factoring. If you get basic factoring, you're gonna get this right off the bat. So it's really good for algebra students to learn, pre-calculus students to learn. Because why not just learn this and save you a little bit of some headaches in calculus, just a little bit, So learn this in algebra. It's good for you guys to learn. And yeah, that's it. I know it's a calculus problem, but it's going to help a lot of you know it. All right, cool. So that is how you do it. Any questions, just, let me know. I'm going to try my best to answer them. And yeah, that's it. If you need more clarification, just let me know. And if it's something I can make a video on, then I'll make a video on. But yep, that's it. And yeah, that's it. Good luck.